we want to have a look at making our Google Sheet and how we're going to set that up. And so we can collect our data. Okay, so let's have a look at, if I just go back to our plan, one of the things that we need to know is we need to know our table here, obviously, but also this description of what a simulation is. So it says one trial is generating random numbers until either all full symbols are gained or until a maximum of 10 ice blocks are brought. And we're going to repeat that 50 times. Okay, so that's what I want to set up in my Google Sheets. So I'm going to first of all write my trials, and I want to have a bunch of trials. So I'm just going to write in a bunch of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I go to this bottom right-hand corner, I get this plus symbol occurring. And when I get that symbol, if I click and hold, and I can now drag that down, and I'm going to drag it down to row 51 because that gives me 50 trials. So what I can now do is if I click on the A itself, it selects that whole column. And if I go to the space between A and B, it comes up with this little black arrow. If I double click on that, it just narrows the column down for me. So if I go back to my definition, the definition said I'm generating numbers until I've either got all 4 symbols or until I've got a maximum of 10 ice blocks. So think about what it is that we're going in to buy. We are going in to buy the ice blocks. So that's what I am simulating. So I'm going to say ice 1, ice 2, ice 3, ice 4, ice 5. And I can do the same thing as I did before, is I'm going to select those, go to this bottom corner to get the plus, and then drag it across to get it repeating that pattern. And again, I'm going to select all of those columns, go between them till I get the arrow, double click, and that narrows them down. So then I want a total column and I want a win column. I'm just going to narrow those two down. Okay, so that's my headings set up. Now I want to actually do the formula. So the formula is equals rand between, and I'm going to do 1, 10. And so that's generated a random number there, the number 7. So I want to do the same thing and copy this formula across. So click, hold, drag across to number 10, let go. Then click, hold, and drag down so we get all 50 trials. And let go. Okay. What I need to do now is that because it's got a formula, if I start typing anywhere else in the cells on the spreadsheet, it's going to change these numbers. It's going to recalculate a new random number, which I don't want it to do. So I've got all the data selected there, and I'm going to say so I'm going to do right click and copy, and then I'm going to do a right click again and say paste special, and I want to paste the values only. Okay. And so that now when I look at any of these cells, they have just got a single number now. There's no formula in there anymore. Okay, good. So there's our setup so far. Now I'm going to select these numbers again, because what I want to do is I want to color these numbers in. So I want to do conditional formatting. So I'm going to go to my format menu, and I'm going to come down to conditional formatting and select that. And that brings up this box on the right hand side. So I want to color these ones in. So let me just jump back to my table here. I'm going to color, if it's an apple, I want to color that in something that represents apple. For me is green. So I'm going to color that one in green. If I have pineapple, I'm going to color that one in yellow. If I have grape, I'm going to color that in purple, and strawberry I'm going to color in red. So that's what I want to do. So if I've got a number between 1 and 4, that represents getting an apple. So I want to color that in green. So I want to say here, if the cell, and go down to where it says is between, and I want to say is between the number 1 and the number 4, then I want to colour this in green. And you can see it's just gone and done that. It's coloured all the numbers between 1, so any 1, 2, 3 or 4 is coloured in green. And I'm going to click on done. So that's the first one set up. Now I want to add a new rule. And if I go back to my sheet here, it says pineapple. Any number between 5 and 7 represents pineapple. So again, format the cells if it is, not that one, undo, delete that. Right, let's try that again. Add new rule. Format the cells if it is between 5 and 7. Then it was going to be pineapple, so I'm colouring that in yellow. And done. Now I need to do my grape. So grape is the numbers 8 and 9. So I'm going to say format if it is between 8 and 9. Then that was grape, so that's going to be purple. And done. And the last rule is if it is the number 10, then that is my strawberry. So I can say format the cell if it is equal to the number 10, then that is going to be a strawberry colour. And done. Okay, so now I've got these coloured in. So now what I need to do is I need to process this data now, and I need to actually work out for each trial how many ice blocks would they bring. And I'm going to generate, so a trial is generating numbers until I get all 4 symbols, okay, or until you get a maximum of 10 ice blocks. And if they get all 4 symbols, then they will win the movie ticket, okay. So that's what we want to do. So if I look at trial number 1, okay, so I look at that first row, I can see the very first cell is green, so that's an apple. The second ice block that they would buy is a grape symbol. The third one is another apple. So after buying 3 ice blocks, they've got 2 different symbols. They've only got apple, they've got 2 apple symbols, and they've got a grape symbol. Okay, buy ice block number 4, and that is pineapple. So after buying 4 ice blocks, they've got 3 different symbols now. The 5th ice block is another grape. The 6th ice block is a strawberry. So after buying 6 ice blocks, now they have all 4 different symbols. So that means they would stop buying ice blocks. So in total, they purchased, for that trial, they bought 6 ice blocks. And yes, they did win the movie ticket because they have all 4 symbols. They've got green, purple, yellow, and red. They've got all 4 symbols. So now I'm going to look at trial number 2. And so the first ice block in trial number 2 is a grape. The second ice block is pineapple. The third one is another pineapple, another grape, an apple. So after buying 6 ice blocks, they've now got 3 different symbols. 7 is another apple, another grape, another pineapple, another grape. There is no strawberry in that, so they would have bought all 10 ice blocks, but no, they did not win the prize. They did not get their movie ticket. And I can see for trial number 3, again, there's no red in that column, so I know that that's going to be a total of 10 and no. Same with the next one, 10 and no. There is no red in that column, so therefore we can't have all 4 colours. I look down at trial number 5 now. It starts with a strawberry, so that strawberry is the first one, then a apple, then a pineapple, another pineapple, another apple, another apple. Ice block number 7 is a grape. So now, after buying 7 ice blocks, they will have all 4 symbols. So they wouldn't buy any more. So they would have purchased 7 ice blocks, and yes, they got their prize. They got their movie ticket. Trial number 6, grape. grape, apple, so 2 different symbols, pineapple, 3 different symbols, strawberry, 4 different symbols. So after buying 5 ice blocks, they will have all 4 symbols. So 5 ice blocks, and yes, they do have their movie ticket. I can see there's no red in the next one, so again it's another 10 and no, and so on. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go and finish completing all 50 of my trials, working out what's happening. So what I want to do is just, now that I've got all the data there, I just want to show you also how we're going to go about finding our probability. So we've copied across the total column. So remember, I selected all of those totals. Now that I've got all 50 of those, I can copy those across, go to my NZ grapher. I can select data and paste table, and I can paste the data set into there, and I'm going to import that. Then I'm going to choose my dot plot, and I've got my total there, I've got my summary selected, and I've got my high box plot selected. Okay, so then I can change this point size, and I'm now going to do a right click and copy that image, jump across to my document and paste that data set in there. So that when I look at it, I can then see that I've got a median here of 10 and a mean of 8.68. And particularly that mean, that's the value that I'm going to use to answer my investigation question in a bit. Okay. The other thing that I want to do is I want to look at that total column. Okay. So the win column. And in that win column, I've written down yes or no. What I want to do is I want to count the number of yeses that I have, because I need to work out what's the probability that I win the movie ticket. So I'm going to type in a formula equals count if, open bracket, and I'm going to say select all of these ones here. I'm going to count that from there, comma, and then I'm going to say quote marks, yes, and close bracket. So what has happened now is it has counted and found that there are 21 yeses in my simulation. So that means in terms of my probability of winning, that probability is going to be 21 out of 50, because there were 50 trials and I got 21 yeses. So that is my estimate of my probability for winning a movie ticket.